Good morning and welcome to your AI Future. I'm Marcus Reid, and today is Monday, April 6th, 2026. We are kicking off the week with a packed lineup, from Microsoft quietly downgrading Copilot to a toy, to Anthropic buying a biotech startup for $400 million, to Jensen Huang making one of the most provocative claims in the history of this industry.
It's a dense Monday, Marcus. I'm Sarah Chen, and I want to start by saying, if you run a business that relies on AI tools, every single story today has something directly relevant to your operating decisions. So let's get into it.
Our lead story. Microsoft has updated its terms of service for Copilot, its flagship AI assistant baked into Microsoft 365, to explicitly state that outputs are for entertainment purposes only, not business use, not professional advice. Entertainment.
This matters a lot more than it sounds. Microsoft has spent the last 2 years selling Copilot to enterprises as a productivity transformation tool. They have signed multi-year contracts with Fortune 500 companies on the promise that this AI makes your workforce more efficient. And now the legal fine print says it's entertainment.
To be clear, this is a liability move. Microsoft is creating legal distance between the company and any decision a business makes based on a Copilot output. They are not pulling the product. They are telling courts in advance that if your CFO used Copilot to build a financial model and it was wrong, that is on you.
The practical message for business leaders is this. If you have workflows where Copilot output feeds into a real decision, a contract, a financial report, a client deliverable, you need a human verification step in that workflow. Today, not eventually. This term change is Microsoft's way of telling you they know their model makes mistakes and they are not responsible for the consequences.
Next story, and this is a big one for the healthcare and life sciences sector. Anthropic has acquired Coefficient Bio, a biotech startup, for $400 million. This is Anthropic's first major acquisition, and it signals a major strategic expansion, from AI assistant provider into AI drug discovery.
Coefficient Bio was building AI tools for analyzing biological systems, specifically around protein interaction and cellular pathway modeling. What Anthropic brings to that is Claude's reasoning capabilities at scale and their new computer use and tool use infrastructure. The thesis is that you can accelerate drug discovery timelines from years to months by giving AI agents the ability to design experiments, interpret results, and iterate autonomously.
This is significant for any business in healthcare, pharma, medical devices, or clinical research. The pace of competitor research is about to accelerate dramatically if this model works. And it also signals that the major AI labs are no longer content to be horizontal infrastructure. They are moving into vertical markets with serious capital.
For non-healthcare businesses, watch this as a template. If Anthropic can prove the drug discovery use case, you will see similar acquisitions in legal tech, financial modeling, and engineering. The labs are going vertical.
Japan story now. And I think this one gets undersold in American business media. Japan's government has announced a formal national strategy to capture 30% of the global physical AI robotics market by 2040, and they are not starting from zero.
Japan's industrial robotics companies already control 70% of the global market. Companies like Fanuc, Yaskawa, and Kawasaki have been building industrial robots for decades. What the new strategy adds is AI, meaning these robots are no longer just programmed machines executing fixed instructions. They are learning systems that adapt to changing environments, unstructured tasks, and human collaboration.
The labor shortage context is critical here. Japan's working-age population has been shrinking for 2 decades. They have already exhausted traditional immigration and productivity solutions. Physical AI is not an experiment for Japan. It is a national economic survival strategy. And because they are deploying at scale, the cost curves are going to drop fast.
The implication for business leaders in manufacturing, logistics, warehousing, and supply chain. Japan is about to produce a massive wave of production-ready physical AI systems. The pricing will be competitive. The reliability track record will be there. If you have been waiting on automation because robotics felt experimental or expensive, that window is closing faster than most people realize.
Let's talk about SpaceX. Multiple outlets confirmed this week that SpaceX has filed confidential IPO paperwork at a valuation of $1.75 trillion. That would make it the most valuable IPO in history. And there is a fascinating AI angle attached.
SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has been pitching to investors the concept of orbital data centers, essentially server farms in space. The theoretical advantages are real: no land costs, no water cooling requirements, no local government opposition, and access to continuous solar power. The engineering challenges are also very real: radiation hardening, maintenance logistics, data latency.
The reason this matters for AI specifically is that data center capacity is the single biggest constraint on AI scaling right now. The hyperscalers, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, are all fighting for land, power, and cooling capacity. Any credible alternative architecture gets serious attention. Whether orbital data centers are science fiction or inevitable probably depends on how fast the underlying costs drop.
There is a more immediate business relevance here. The banks that want to participate in the SpaceX IPO are being required by Musk to subscribe to his Grok AI platform. Multiple outlets confirmed this. If you are in financial services, you are watching Musk use the most anticipated IPO in history as a distribution lever for XAI. That is a power move that will have downstream effects on enterprise AI adoption in the sector.
Now let's talk about a story that the AI developer community has been buzzing about all weekend. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang made the claim publicly that AGI, artificial general intelligence, is already here. Not coming. Here.
I want to be careful about how we frame this because the definition of AGI matters enormously. Jensen Huang is using a definition where AGI means AI that can perform at or above human level on most cognitive tasks in constrained, structured environments. By that definition, he has a credible case. Current frontier models do outperform average humans on many standardized tests, coding tasks, and analytical tasks.
But the definition matters. The version of AGI that most researchers have in mind. A system that can learn arbitrary new skills, form persistent goals, and operate with general-purpose agency in the real world. That is not what we have today. What Jensen is likely doing is setting a commercial narrative that positions NVIDIA as the company that built the infrastructure for the AGI era, which is strategically valuable whether or not the philosophical claim holds.
For business leaders, the practical question is, does it matter what we call it? If AI systems can now do the work of a knowledge worker across most domains, the competitive and workforce implications are the same regardless of the label. And that reality is already priced into a lot of strategic planning, or should be.
Let's close with a story from the research side that does not make headlines, but is genuinely important. A large-scale field experiment published this week studied 515 startups over a period of months. The treated group, the ones who got help systematically mapping AI into their production workflows, found 44% more AI use cases, completed 12% more tasks, were 18% more likely to acquire paying customers, and generated nearly double the revenue of the control group.
That finding deserves to be read slowly. Nearly double the revenue, 18% more likely to get paying customers. This was not a study about having better models or more budget. It was about the process of systematically identifying where AI creates value inside your specific workflows, what researchers call the mapping problem.
The businesses winning with AI are not the ones with the most sophisticated models. They are the ones who sat down, mapped their operations, identified the 10 highest leverage touchpoints, and then deployed AI specifically there. That is a management discipline, not a technology problem.
If you have not done that mapping exercise in your own organization, that is the most actionable thing from today's show. And if you need a framework for it, this is exactly what we cover on your AI Future every week.
That wraps up today's Roundtable. Thank you for starting your Monday morning with us. I'm Marcus Reid.
I'm Sarah Chen. Stay curious, stay competitive, and we will see you tomorrow on your AI Future.